So hi everyone, my name is Nikki Lamarche and I'm the Outreach and Education Support Specialist at Kids Cancer Care. We're very excited to have you on today. I'm going to quickly go over who we are as Kids Cancer Care, more on education support programs, what the webinar series are all about, and an introduction to our guest speaker. And then I'm going to pass it over to Tanya Salwach from Triple P and PACE Kids to begin her presentation on common behaviors in kids between 2 and 12 years old, and some strategies that you can actually take home today. So our mission at Kids Cancer Care is to provide families affected by childhood cancer a way to survive and thrive in body, mind, and spirit. What that means to us within the education support pillar is to provide you with new knowledge, strategies, and current research so you can thrive and become more wholesome as an individual, but also as a parent. We have an entire education support stream that is available to support your child at diagnosis, during treatment and beyond for the child with cancer, their siblings, and also parents. We have a tutoring program to support the cancer patient, survivor, siblings to alleviate some stress on parents, and we make sure it's free. We offer the Derek Wanzur Memorial Scholarship to patients and survivors of childhood cancer to alleviate financial stress, so teens can pursue post-secondary education. We're just about to pay tuition for 12 recipients who applied for the scholarship in 2021. We offer a program called Cancer in the Classroom to help kids get back into the classroom safely and build awareness with their classmates and the school community about childhood cancer. And lastly, we have this webinar series to support families by providing speakers with expertise in certain areas to share their knowledge with you. So what is a webinar? Think of a webinar as a way to attend a conference without leaving your home. Using your computer or telephone, you will be able to hear a presentation like a conference call and also see the presenter's slides if they have some, while watching over an internet connection. People from across the world can join a webinar. But what is Kids Cancer Care's webinar? Our webinars are different. We only invite people and families within the Kids Cancer Care community to register, but we can bring in speakers from anywhere in the world. We make our webinar sessions small so that you have the opportunity to ask questions. We want to make sure some webinar series are interactive and some where you can just sit back and listen like a podcast. Our webinar series will also be recorded and made available to you after the session on our Kids Cancer Care webpage, so there's no need for frantic note-taking. Our webinars take place in the spring and the fall each year, so keep an eye out for emails as they approach, because you must register for them. Consider our webinar series a way of having professionals share their expertise with our families and you being able to ask them questions at the end. If you ever want to know more about a certain topic or have ideas on who would be great at sharing their expertise in a certain field, just let me know, send me an email. If you have questions that come up or pop up and come to mind, you will be able to ask questions. We want you to post your questions in the chat box as they come to your mind. Then I will read them out to Tanya at a time that is best, likely at the end of the presentation, as we are recording. After this session, we will ask you for your feedback by email. Please take the time to answer this survey. The answers you provide will give us great feedback to keep improving our sessions. So here's a quick Zoom overview. You might not know this. You might know this all. We will keep everyone muted. Please click unmute if you have a response to a question from the speaker. Feel free to keep your video on so we know that you are there. It is never easy talking to black screens, but understand if you keep your video off. Use the chat box for questions. Now for an introduction to our guest speaker. So Tanya Salwach joined PACE Kids program in 2015. The first year as a part-time developmental behavioral aide in the home working directly with children, and in 2016 she took her first 2 levels of certification in Triple P, Positive Parenting Practices, providing one-to-one delivery to families. Tanya is a certified practitioner in standard stepping stones, primary care stepping stones, standard teen, primary care teen, enhanced Triple P, seminars, and selected seminars. Tanya also became an aquatic therapist in 2009 for medically fragile children and special needs children, young adults, and adults, incorporating therapeutic goals in the warm water environment. On top of all this amazing stuff she is certified in, she is in the process of opening her own nonprofit foundation to build a therapeutic pool facility for kids on her acreage just south of Calgary. In addition, Tanya also has multiple certifications in alternative therapies from being a recognized reflexologist with the Reflexology Association of Canada, WATSU, so water shiatsu, practitioner with multiple levels of training, aquatic therapist, traditional Thai massage, Thai foot massage, herbal compressing, yoga certifications in 3 types of yoga, and much more. Tanya also just retired her 5th therapy dog from the PALS program after 25 years as a volunteer delivering pet therapy at the Alberta Children's Hospital. She might talk about that a bit later. Tanya comes with lots of background knowledge on behavioral issues in a variety of settings. We hope you all enjoyed today's presentation, so grab your coffee or a cup of water, sit back and relax. Don't forget to post your questions in the chat box. I will now pass the torch over to Tanya. So welcome, Tanya. I'm gonna mute myself and I'll come in when needed, okay?
Great, thank you. Thank you very much for asking me to be here this evening and help impart some parenting knowledge. Although now that you've all heard the bio, you all might be thinking, wouldn't it be nice if this came with a foot rub? How many of us parents need that foot rub, that reflexology to help us relax in this stressful time? So we have a few things that we're going to talk about this evening. I thought maybe I would start with just letting you know what Triple P is. Triple P is the Positive Parenting Program that is based out of the University of Queensland in Australia and has literally gone international. We deliver in 26 different countries all over the globe, and we actually also deliver in 21 different languages. So it is a very well-known evidence-based program of positive parenting that really helps parents improve the family functioning in their home, help their children reach their potential, help develop good relationships. We know as parents that we are the ones that choose the values and the skills that we want our children to learn. And the earlier we get in there to lay these foundations, the better. However, we also know that life can throw us some challenges, and the challenges that life can throw at us can also throw a wrench in our parenting, where now, you know, we have children that maybe typical behaviors are happening in, like anxiety over attending a doctor's appointments or going to school, kids not wanting to complete their homework, temper tantrums, toilet training issues. And it can sometimes be really hard to know as a parent, what should I do? How do I deal with this? What are ways I can develop a good relationship, encourage the behavior I want to see, and keep it really positive and loving? And so this is what Triple P does. We come in multiple levels of programs, all the way from seminars to group and online Triple P, and then up a level into one-on-one services in the home under primary care programs, which is up to 10 weeks that you get a practitioner working with you in the home, helping you with a parenting plan, to the standard programs, which are up to 30 weeks of having a weekly a practitioner in your home to help you with your parenting plan. And then we have level 5 enhanced to help with coping skills, partner support, communication. The Pathways program helps when families are separating or other things are going on, which is making parenting a little bit tougher, a little bit more of a challenge. So all of these programs are provided to families in Calgary, throughout Canada. I don't think every province has it. I know that Alberta has it, Saskatchewan has it, Ontario, Newfoundland have big practitioner. Lot of people in there out and working with child protection services and multiple different programs. Here in Calgary, we have a very strong presence. We have a lot of Triple P practitioners here, and we go into homes under 2 different umbrellas. The first umbrella is under FSCD, which is Family Services for Children with Disability. And I have provided Nikki with a link for any family where FSCD may apply, or you might be eligible for. What's the eligibility? How do you get FSCD on board and get some funding to programs to help support you with your children? And for those that aren't eligible for FSCD, then certainly Triple P is offered with the Family Resource Network in Calgary, of which Nikki also has a link there of the local family resource network that offer Triple P out to the community. And you can go in and really take these programs. The benefit of these programs, we know parenting is tough. Parenting is hard work. Parenting is the hardest job. Never mind our careers and our jobs at work. Parenting, this is where we're really shaping the lives of the little people we've brought into this world, and all the challenges that come with all the different things that can happen in any type of a situation. So the emotional skills, the foundations of social skills, these are the skills that as parents we want to lay down as early as possible. And why do we want to lay those skills down? Well, we want confident children. We want kids that are feeling confident about making and maintaining friends, that are feeling confident about being able to advocate for their needs, asking for help, using their words. How do we help our children reach their potential? How do we help our children emotionally regulate? We all want our kids to communicate well. We want them to be able to manage their emotions. We want to encourage independence. And in encouraging independence, we want them to learn how to solve problems for themselves. So we really want to coach that problem solving. How can we help our children develop and really be able to problem solve what they need to? The practical parenting strategies within the Triple P program are really about teaching new skills. How do we teach our kids new skills? What are the different ways we can teach them according to their age, according to what's going on in life, according to where they are currently at their age and where they may be struggling with certain behaviors, or you're struggling with certain behaviors. And we also want to know, how do we manage that in a positive and loving way? How can we keep that as positive as we can? So coming up later in May, for anybody who wants to sort of know a little bit more about how to help your child reach their potential, I am offering a seminar on that on May 19th at 9:30 in the morning. And you can find that on Eventbrite. And I think Nikki also has the flyer. That seminar is geared towards children with a disability. However, all of those parenting tips and strategies can be applied to any family, to any parent of any child of any age. The seminar is geared between 2 and 12 years old. And then I am hosting another seminar on June 2nd at 9:30 in the morning for how do we change problem behavior into good behavior. And that one really focuses on the skills that we would use to turning those temper tantrums, shortening the duration of them and turning them into more regulated emotional behavior. What are some of the things we can try and what can we do? Oh, just finding my mouse here so I can flip my screen. It's a good time for the battery of my mouse to die, hey? So within the positive parenting program, how do we teach our children to show respect to others? How can we teach them to be considerate? Those communication and social skills, this is a huge one, especially during COVID. Let's admit it, our kids, they're inside, they're restricted. How can we keep their social skills up? How can we help them with communication? How can we build their self-esteem so that they're feeling supported? We know that a lot of kids are having trouble. They can't see their friends. They can't go out and just play with their friends. There's all of these new things that are coming in. And how many of you as parents, and you can just do a reaction with your hand up, but how many of you as parents see your children struggling with their social skills since this COVID started? Seeing it affect their self-esteem. They feel isolated. And it's hard to know as a parent, what do we do for them? Because yeah, they love us. We're their parents, but we're not their friends, right? We're not like that. We're not going to sit and play Barbies with them or play, trucks with them like their friends do. Different. We play a different role. And so a lot of us are seeing parents struggling at this point in time with how do we get our children through this. Another great skill as a parent, we've got to, if you've got a child who's struggling with becoming independent, how can we encourage them to become better problem solver? How can we encourage them to become more independent, do a little bit more for themselves without a meltdown because maybe you're asking them to be a bit more independent on something that they really don't want to do. It's nicer when you do it for me, Mom, so I'll just hold back until you do that for me. How can we encourage them to want to learn these new skills and be good problem solvers? Independence, we know that as our children grow, the more independent they get, the more self-esteem they have, the better they feel about themselves, the more proud we are of them. And really, we need to bring that in. Our kids really need a lot of good praise right now, descriptive praise. We really need to focus and pay attention to good behavior. We always have to ask ourselves, how much attention is our child receiving for behavior we don't like to see? We need to flip that coin. Let's flip it. How much attention am I giving my child when they're behaving well? And if we really look at our day, we can see multiple missed opportunities where we don't think come in and give praise to build their self-esteem. For example, let's say you have more than one child in the house, and let's say one child is playing very nicely with their younger child or their older sibling, and they have a really great interaction going with each other. This is where, as a parent, we really need to step in and say, wow, I really like how you guys are talking to each other right now. That makes me very proud. Let's get in there. And when we see them picking up a dish and taking it to the sink, or picking up the garbage and putting it in the trash, or turning off their screens when we've asked them to turn it off, let's get in there with as much positive praise as we can so that they're not left guessing, what do we like? Quite often we can get caught in this trap of focusing on behavior we don't like. And that behavior becomes when they get the most of us. Okay, we're breaking up that sibling interaction that's not so positive. We're moving into negotiating and arguing about getting off our screen, like our devices. And so they say, well, yeah, I get Mom and Dad, but I get them when I'm not listening. So let's flip the coin and think about, how can we move more of that attention to be happening when our kids are behaving well? Easier said than done. Once you learn the strategies, it becomes easier. And this is where the benefit of the Triple P program can come in, to really help you in your home with your values, with what's important to you in your home, to building a good parenting plan. And again, you can just use your hands up here, but how many of us said, I will never be my mother? And now you parent and you hear your mother coming out of your mouth. Not me. Okay, so a lot of times our parenting experience is based on how we grew up, what we know. What do we know about parenting? Well, a lot of that is based on how we were parented, and stuff we swore we would never do, we find ourselves doing. Some of it is good. Like it's Mother's Day on Sunday. Yay, moms. Okay, they did a good job. They did the best job they could with what they had. It wasn't always negative interaction, but wasn't always positive interaction. So good, bad, right or wrong, we learned from our parents. So now, how many of you have spouses that parent the way they were parented, but it's different from yours? Okay, so now you're looking at your husband and you're going, what are you doing? Who taught you to do that? Okay, so Triple P is a wonderful program to get you parenting better together. Okay, how can you communicate better together as husband and wife, as mom and dad? Okay, where can we bring that in with that positive parenting experience where you're backing each other up? Because You've got a plan. You might deliver it with your own styles, with your own personality, your own flair. But you know that's where you're going with it. The rewards are the same, the consequences are the same. And after we have a short little break here, we're going to talk about some of these strategies and how you guys can get on the same page so that you're parenting better together, understanding that your experiences as a child with the way you were parented are different. And so we always need to take that into account. There is a wonderful parenting website with Triple P. It's triplep-parenting.ca. And on that website, I encourage all parents to go onto that website. There's under the Getting Started, there's some great tip sheets, some of them which Nikki already has. We downloaded them and she's able to provide them to you. Some great tip sheets on tips and tricks for work and home life balance now that so many of us are working from home. There is a tip sheet on schooling during COVID. There's another one on on that balance between not just now being the parent, but the teacher. You're kind of both right now. And then there's also a blogs under the blogs button. There's some great blogs and there's some great videos there that you can watch to kind of get you started into this idea of the positive parenting program, how we can build this positive relationship with our children and with our spouses. Let's endeavor to parent better together. We're not always going to agree. So how do we have a problem-solving discussion? We're not always going to cope with the high-risk things that life sends our way. How can we get through it together while still understanding that we're probably going to go through it with our different emotions and our own feelings, but how do we still support each other while still experiencing it differently? So Triple P is a wonderful program to come in and help support with that. So I think at this point we had a scheduled little 5-minute break and stretch. I'm not sure, Nikki, how you typically handle the breaks. Everybody goes pee, gets a cup of tea, settles with the kids, check in with, see how things are going.
That's exactly it. Pee and tea. So go ahead, go to the washroom, go fill up your cup. Say hi. If you don't have your video on, feel free to come in and say hi to us now.
Perfect. And we'll start back at 7 o'clock.
Unpause it now. And so we will get started on the second half. And Tanya, if you want to, there she goes. Megan's laughing. Okay. I will let you take it away again, Tanya. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk some practical strategies here. And I want to focus really on how do we develop that good relationship, and how do we, because when we develop a good relationship with our kids, that's when encouraging the good behavior really becomes, we see more of it, it becomes more successful. I'm going to share the screen with you here and just bring up a slide show. And hopefully you all seeing this wonderful slide here that says quality time. So I'm going to take some of the pressure off here. How many of you parents struggle with, when I've got 15 minutes, when I've got 30 minutes, when I've got an hour, then I'll zero in and I'll spend that with the kids. And then the day goes by and you're busy and life is happening and you think, oh, I barely got the time to see my kids today. I feel like I didn't sit and play with my kids today. It was all business, business, business. Or all about the schooling and the homework and things like that. So I'm going to take the pressure off here and introduce this idea of quality time, that this is one of the best strategies, one of the biggest strategies that the families I've worked with one-on-one get such a benefit out of understanding, is that 30 seconds to 2 minutes of your time, as many times as you can give your child through the day, is highly beneficial. So if we take that pressure off and we look at it and we say, wow, all I have to do is 30 seconds to 2 minutes to give them quality time, that opens up quite a window of opportunity for you as a parent. Doesn't that kind of make you breathe a little bit and go, wow, that's it, 30 seconds. So using your chats, what are some things that you could do with your child for 30 seconds to 2 minutes in a day, as many times as you can? What are some of those ways you could interact with your children? And we'll give you a chance here to type it out, and we'll have Nikki read them out once they come in.
I'm chatting as well. Okay, so here we have, yeah, engaging in whatever they're playing with some eye contact.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Even though we know you're done with Barbies, okay, if they're playing with their Barbie, you can go up and you engage with them. Oh, what's that Barbie's name? Or, oh, I like the brunette Barbie. Brunette Barbie. Oh, I like the gray-haired Barbie. When are they going to do a gray-haired Barbie? Come on. Okay. But getting in there, engaging with them of what's interesting to them. Sometimes as a parent, we might be tired of it. We might not feel like it's engaging for us, but if it's in something that's engaging our child, absolutely, let's get in there and talk about that. Make the eye contact and give them some praise. Good job playing on your own. Proud of you. I'm going to go do this, but I'm going to come back. Yeah.
Reading a story is another one.
Yeah, some children's stories, you can get through that story in around a minute mark, some of those easy learning to read stories, absolutely.
And then dancing to their favorite song.
I love it. Dance parties. It's a P-A-R-T-Y. It's a P-A-R-T-Y.
Putting our phones away just for 30 seconds to a minute.
Love it. Love it. What a great thing to recognize is not having that shared time, but literally that you've got me 100%, devices are put away. Yeah.
Telling a joke.
Nice. Yeah.
A game of Go Fish. Those games are, sometimes they get longer than 2 minutes.
Yeah, game of Go Fish, tic-tac-toe, I Spy with my little eye. But really getting in there, engaging with your kids with 100% of you. And when your child approaches you, being available, like just taking a moment to give them that 30 seconds. I know that as a parent, you might feel the pressure of that. No, I can't, I don't, but let's look at it. 30 seconds. We can take that pause and really focus on our kids and say, thank you for coming to share that with me and talking about what it is that they're interested in. Now, if you're super busy, then it is okay to say to your child, mom or dad can't do this right now. I'm going to come to you in 10 minutes. Just remember to follow through. Yeah. Any other good ideas come up on the chat there?
Yeah, I got blowing bubbles, biking, playing a game, counting something with them, playing I Spy.
Yeah, all great ideas. And sometimes, like you said, when we take that pressure off, knowing 30 seconds to 2 minutes, because if we do 30 seconds, let's say we do 1 minute 10 times a day. So our child is getting 10 minutes from us in that day, but they don't look at it and say, I only got 10 minutes. What they see is I got you 10 times today. And that's to our kids, that's getting us. And I love whoever recognized, let's put our cell phones away and let's give them 100%. So let's give them as much quality time as we can, and understand quality time doesn't mean the quantity of time. It means short periods of time as often as we can. Okay. And then communicating. And one of you already touched base with this, which is talking about our kids with what they're doing, what they're interested in. If you have a child that's struggling with speech or language for whatever reason, then we're just giving the tools. How can we point? Can we hold the toy? Can we make sounds? Really what we want to do is we want to ask them questions and listen to what they're giving back. We need to show that we're interested in what our child is doing, really be engaged with it. When I was a bonus mom, I swear the boys would talk to me about this Minecraft, and I would understand 0% of what they were talking about, but they were so engaged with it and so enthusiastic that I did a lot of this. That's great. Yeah. All right. Build. And I had no clue, but they loved that I would engage and be just as excited. It was genuine excitement, even without having to understand. Now, in about year 2 or 3, I was like, oh, are we going to have this Minecraft conversation again? Yep, we are. So really understanding that if it's interesting to our kids, we make the effort to make it interesting to us, and we communicate with them about that they are showing interest in. Affection. I mean, need we say more? We all need hugs, okay? But I mean, some children might not like the hugs and the cuddles, but maybe they like the fist pumps and the high fives. Some kids will love the tickles. Some kids just love affection in different ways. So thinking outside the box, but the more affection we show our child, the more receptive they are to us being in there. So I call this the triad of developing a good relationship. So we are spending quality time talking to them about what they're interested in and following it up with affection. So all those 3 things bundled together develops a great relationship with our child. It's not about based on what they've done or what they haven't done. It's not based on did this chore get done, or it's not activity based. This is just, I'm spending time with you. We're going to talk and we're going to follow up with the type of affection that our child likes. In saying that, as a parent, it can be hard when we want to give our child a hug and they don't want that hug. That can be one of the hardest things to recognize, is when we need to take that step back and make sure that we're reading our child well enough to say, yeah, a hug is only going to irritate them right now, maybe frustrate them, maybe they're too angry, they don't want this right now. But what can I do instead? Can I give them a smile, a wink? Can I put a sticker on their hand? Can I just give them descriptive praise? I'm very proud of you right now. Good job. Whatever it may be, we can give affection verbally. It doesn't always have to be physical affection. So those times when our children don't want to receive the physical affection, as hard as it is for moms and dads that need that hug from your child right now, we never want to force the affection for the child to give affection that isn't quite speaking to them at that point in time. So descriptive praise. How many, just I mean, I can only see 4 windows, but just thinking, how many of us grew up with parents that gave praise? I know I didn't. It wasn't a part, obviously, of when my mom was growing up. Her parents didn't give her praise, so it wasn't something within her norm. So let's think about praise. How often are we clear and specific versus just saying good job or thank you? Okay, so we can be really good with general praise. Let's think about getting more descriptive with your praise. Good job for listening. Good job for cleaning up your toys. Good job at the doctor's office. I'm very proud of you. That went really well. Good job showing nice behavior. Hey, we're always genuine, we're always enthusiastic, but it always helps when we describe specifically the behavior that we like. So let's say, here's the example I use with families, and it's a cute example because everybody in this webinar is going to go, oh yeah, I know what that's like. So you're sitting at the table for family dinner and you've got 2 kids. They're about 2 years apart, like my sister and I were in age. And you're nicely eating your dinner, but under the table, the kids are kicking each other. Oh, yeah, I know. Okay, and we say to those kids, good job. The kids are like, oh, mom likes it that I'm kicking you. Okay, what we really meant was good job for sitting at the table and eating your dinner. So So let's take out that guesswork for the kids. Of course, the older the kids get, they've got that capacity to break it down a little bit better, but still descriptive praise, the clearer we can get, the better. Okay, so let's really, thank you for listening, really define it. If you're just giving a good job, ask yourself for what, and then follow it up with that secondary sentence. Good job for doing your homework question. Okay, so get super descriptive, and then our kids know exactly what we mean. And if we've paired that detail with the praise, do our kids want us to be proud of them? Do our kids want us to be happy with the way they behave? Yeah, they do. So let's give them as much detail of what that is as we can. Let's really encourage with description what it is we like that we're seeing. So attention, this falls into that same thing with affection, a smile, a wink, thumbs up. Let's say you're on the phone, you're talking on your cell phone, and we've got kids constantly interrupting when we're on the phone because now the attention's away from them. We got the distraction, our phone is out, it's on and it's unlocked. It can generate a lot of behavior. Maybe they're sitting and quietly playing while we're on the phone. It's an important call, but how can we let them know that them not interrupting or that they're behaving well while we're on the phone? Okay, thumbs up, good job. We can nod, we can smile, we can walk by and place a hand on their shoulder or on their head. We can give them a squeeze and a hug, and there doesn't have to be any of that verbal that comes with it. If your child's not motivated by praise, some kids don't like praise, they don't like the attention it brings, and those parents that know they've got children that just don't respond well to praise, then we can use other rewards. Okay, what else can we use to let them know we're proud of them? I had one family we worked with, verbal praise didn't work well, so we did drive-by Post-its. So mom went out and bought heart-shaped Post-it notes and then would just write a little message. I like your shirt today. You look very pretty today. You know, a compliment, and just on the way by would just stick the Post-it note on the child's shirt and continue to go, and the child could read the praise instead. It was just as effective, but it let that child know in a way that was comfortable for that child that they were doing the right thing, that mom and dad were proud. Okay, drive-by Post-it notes, one of my favorite things. There's also the you know, the compliments jar where everybody can put something in the jar of something they liked from a family member that day. You can pull it out, read it, and we're keeping it very positive and loving. What was your favorite part of the day? What did you really like today? What did we see from you today that we were proud of? Okay. When we look at rewards, one of the biggest questions that I get from parents when we're looking at utilizing rewards is, what is the difference between a reward and a bribe? And this can be so hard to tell sometimes. So the easiest way I can describe it is a bribe. A bribe is something that you offer your child to stop the behavior you don't like. If you stop yelling, I will give you the comic book. That is a bribe. Okay. So what the child learns in that situation is, if I want the comic book, I just have to yell. So we're actually increasing that behavior we don't like by bribing. A reward. This is something we offer our child when they do the behavior we want. Because you listened, here's the sticker. Because you listened well at the doctor's office and we had such a great appointment, we're going to stop at the park on the way home. So now the reward that the child is receiving is for showing the behavior we want to see, and now we're encouraging more of that through utilizing a reward. Always backing up that reward with praise and physical affection. Okay, so that they just feel those warm and fuzzies, and they just know, we're proud of them. They know we're happy with what they've done because we've gotten descriptive with their praise. We've backed it up with a reward. Now, the rewards your kids are going to be interested in, those are going to fluctuate over time. Some of you might say, oh, yeah, you know, he loved the Smurf sticker for about 2 days and then it lost its luster. So some kids, we have to change the rewards. Often, other kids, it's that reward, screen time, extra minutes on their devices. It's tried and true. So you guys know your kids best. Really, it's sitting down and paying attention to what is your child finding the most entertaining in their world right now. For some children, it could be allowance. For some, it's those outings, those bike rides, the bubbles, okay, stickers, stamps, temporary tattoos, any of those things, dance parties. Okay, I do respite care with a little girl every Friday. I use descriptive, my rewards for her is descriptive praise, and we have a dance party. So every time she does something and I say, good listening, and she'll go, and she does this, which is the symbol, and we both get our hands up and we have a P-A-R-T-Y and we shake our booties and we do little spins. And to her, that is the most delightful thing on the face of the earth. It lets her know I'm happy. It builds that good, positive, loving relationship. And guess what? Next time I ask her to do something, if she knows there's a party, she listens again. So really, it's about encouraging them and building in those things that they're interested in, to give them a choice of things they can have or do as a reward. Some kids, it could be, do you want to stop at the park or go by Timmy's and pick one Timbit and a cup of hot chocolate? And now they have a choice. Children love choices. Just make sure the choices you give them are viable choices for you to be able to follow through with. Those interesting activities, bored kids, we all know this, right? We take our kids to something boring like a doctor's appointment, a bank appointment, show homes. How many of us have gone to see a show home and the kids are running through the house? Boring things. So we know that sometimes we have to be sure we have the interesting activities planned. We need to keep our kids busy. The busier we keep our kids, to encourage development and we don't want them to be bored. However, I am a firm believer that the skill of learning how to be bored is a very important skill. We don't want to be so busy that our kids never know how to sit for 2 minutes without, in that 2-minute period, feeling like it's 2 hours. Because we all know that in life, guess what? We've got lines to wait in. We've got people to wait for. Sometimes we have to do it very quietly. So then we have to ask ourselves, what's something that our child can do in that downtime that's not tied to a device, that's not tied to running around, but they're still sitting quietly, but they're reading, they're looking at a comic book. They've got some sensory toys that they can, you know, like silly putty or something that they can take on the go, take out their little egg and they can knead and work and do something sensory to keep them occupied. Just make sure that, you know, when we're out and about doing it, that it's clean and it's easy to put away, because when they need to pay attention, now you're going into the appointment and say they're a part of the appointment, like a doctor's appointment, that now they're engaging with who they need to engage with. Children need routine. Activity schedules, these will really help you in the day with transitions. It'll help with letting your children know exactly what is coming up. Sometimes when we surprise an appointment on a child, and then all of a sudden we get the irritability, the meltdown, the anxiety. Now, some children that have anxiety, if we forewarn them, for some kids it can increase the anxiety, some kids it can decrease it. It's all dependent on your child. But an activity schedule, really, this is just a schedule consisting of objects, photographs, drawings, or words that lays out for them what their day is going to look like. We're going to get up, we're going to have breakfast, then we're going to do 2 hours of homeschooling. Then we're going to take a body break. And one of the handouts that Nikki has to send out to you is actually an activity schedule flyer that we did at Pace Kids. And that'll come out to you with just some ideas on there. This is really in order to help our children learn to transition between activities and to see what their day looks like and to accept what's coming next. And activity schedules, they don't have to look the same every day. Some days maybe we have a body break at 10 o'clock, and then the next day we can't do a 10 o'clock body break, but we can schedule that in at 2 o'clock instead. And then, you know, if the schedule goes well, what can we do? We can give them a reward. If our schedule goes well today on our way home from our appointment this afternoon at 1 p.m., let's stop at a brand new playground we've never stopped at before and have a 15-minute play. Again, when I was a bonus mom and the boys graduated from kindergarten and preschool because they were a year apart in age, our celebration that afternoon was we drove around a community that we normally would never go in, and we visited every park we laid eyes on, just to play on the different apparatus, on the different things. It was new, it was exciting for them. It was just me driving around and going, "Ooh, there's a park, we'll stop at that one." They may like it, they may not like it, but they were enthralled with this idea of a park tour. And it made the day really positive, and that's how I could say to them, "Good job in school, summer's here, let's celebrate." And we packed a little picnic lunch and did things like that. And when we pulled up to every park, the one thing I did was I always reviewed the rules. What are the rules in the park? We keep our hands to ourselves, we introduce ourselves to new friends, we play respectfully. Good job, let's go. And they would go, the rules were fresh in their mind, they would do what they wanted to do, they'd behave beautifully, and then boom, we'd move to the next park, and I'd ask the same question. What are the rules in the park? We keep our hands to ourselves, we introduce ourselves to new friends, we play respectfully. Excellent, let's go to this one. And it became their mantra, these rules. With rules, always state them with what you want to see. Never say no yelling. Okay, so if I say to you, "Don't look at my teacup," what did you guys all just look at? Y'all looked at my teacup. So when we say don't touch the red button, we've just planted the seed for our child to touch the red button. Now, if I say, "Look at my glasses," because that's what I want you to do, what did you all do? You looked at my glasses. So no yelling turns into quiet voice. We state what we want to see. And then we move into these activity schedules. We set our kids up. We have interesting and fun activities. And then we're able to move into a really positive and encouraging interaction where we're seeing enough of this encouraging and good behavior that we are asking for that we can now up our praise. And then our kids say, "Wow, this is a good day. Mommy's happy, I'm happy, dad is happy, siblings are happy. This is a great day." And then what do we naturally see more from the child? That's what they want. They want us to be happy and proud. We see more of the good behavior, more of what we want to see. So we can back up this idea. I'm just going to stop the share. We can back up this idea with, and I'm sure you've all seen these behavior charts, right? Charts where we set a goal for a child, they earn stickers with bigger reward. Okay, so let's think of a temper tantrum. So we don't want to say to our child, "No temper tantrums," because what did we just say? Don't touch the red button. The child's thinking temper tantrum. So what do we want instead? Okay, the behavior chart for staying calm and using our words. Every time you stay calm and use your words, you will earn a sticker. And when you've earned 3 stickers, 5 stickers, maybe for the young kids, it's 1 sticker because they're that little that they need the immediate reward. We follow it up with a bigger backup reward. So let's say we have a 5-year-old that's having trouble dealing with their emotions. Something is creating anxiety, they're getting scared, or they're having this welling up of emotions. And we say, for using our words, you get a sticker, 5 stickers, we will go to the park. After 5 stickers, we'll read your favorite book. Okay. After 5 stickers, you can have a scoop of ice cream or a small glass of juice. Let's say we don't give our children pop or juice, but if it's a big motivator, they don't have to have the whole can. Maybe they can just have a quarter cup. Okay, if that's going to motivate them to learn that behavior we want to see and use their words, and the chart is a visual progress so that they can see their progress. We can keep track of their progress so we can follow through with the rewards. So these behavior charts are wonderful. They don't have to be fancy. You can even just hand draw a few boxes right on the top. You can go on Google and Google behavior chart for quiet voice in the house. Oh my goodness, you'll have hundreds to choose from and print out. But we don't need to have to print it out. We can just pull out. Remember, as when we were kids. Remember when I was a kid? There were no computers. You pull out the ruler and the glue stick. It still works. Our kids don't want fancy. Fancy is good. It's nice if we're motivated to do that, but they just want recognition. They just want to know, how are they doing? They want to know that we're recognizing how they're doing. And there's something fun and enjoyable that happens for doing what it is we'd really like to see.